Our first question today is from Blake. Blake, that's a good name. So Blake says this, wondering if I'll be able to gain some mass with only my kettlebells at home. Well, of course, you can gain mass with only kettlebells. Body mass comes from two basic things. What is it? Myofibular hypertrophy and sarcoplasty. Of course, if I'd have paid more attention, I'd remember hypertrophy. There's two kinds. And kettlebells are easy to fulfill that with by getting the reps up a little bit, by just training, normally. They're a great tool. And let's go through some ideas here. We have a busy schedule that revolves around the kids' activities, and leaving the house to drive to a gym somewhere isn't a great option for me. And that's common with a lot of people. I'm 5'11", 190 pounds. I've been wanting to put on some size for a while, but don't have access to a barbell. My kettlebell weights are as follows. So he's got a 48 kilo. Well, yeah, just do a couple hundred presses every, 3 days a week with that, with the 48 kilo bell. You should be okay. 2 24s and 1 28. It's interesting. When I looked at your list, that's real close to what I had probably my second or third year of kettlebell collections. My first kettlebell was a 28. And then I think I was able to match up 24s. And then I got this massive bell that someone wanted to get rid of. I took it. And then after that, I filled in more appropriate bells for everybody else. So the question is this, how do you build muscle with kettlebells? Well, let me go over this, and I'll have this in a book soon, but there's basically two things I like to build mass with kettlebells. I like the military press family, and I like the double kettlebell front squat family for building mass. Those of you who listen to the podcast a lot, I'm about to say the armor building complex, but let's just hold on for a second. I think one of the best overall bodybuilding exercises you can do are members of the alternate press family. I was just doing an RKC with my good friend Marco, and Marco and I, we were just kind of laughing about how underrated the alternate press is. Time under tension goes to the roof because you're doing one side at a time. So even though I'm pressing with this hand, my body still has to be alert, alive, on task, locked down, the quads tight, the glutes tight, the ab wall, solid and constricted. Constricted, there's probably a better word than that. There's three kinds of alternate press. The first is the standard, and this would be more from the dumbbell tradition. I have those books by the Bosco books, which I think are marvelous, by the way. And he tells us that dreadnought strength is being able to press alternate press 120s, 120 pounds. I have done that in my life. I've alternate pressed with kettlebells, the beasts. I got to tell you, it is harder than you think. So alternate press, you clean the bell here, press, bring it down, press, bring it down. After a while, that, for most people I work with, it morphs into the seesaw press. And the seesaw press is I press here, and it's as this one's coming down, this one's coming up. So it's more of a seesaw. The third variation is what I call goalposts. And there's real value with the goalpost, especially if you really want to drive the tension levels up. So goalpost alternate pressed is when you have both arms locked out over your head. You bring one side down, you press it. You bring the other side down, you press it, goalpost. For hypertrophy purposes, they all have a role. If you just need more stabilization for your overhead work, the goalpost is a good thing to add in at a lighter load. Because of the bells you have, I would also suggest you look into a lot of single arm presses. I'll put some programs together in just a second for you. But the single arm press has great value. You have that 28, which is a good size bell. And if you're doing some singles, when I got ready for my first RKC, all I had was a 28. So I did the rite of passage with the 28. I did the snatch test Pavel recommended in the book to do it with an oven mitt. I did the snatch test with an oven mitt and the 28. I got to tell you, folks, when you do that, you have confidence in the snatch test with the 24. So the seesaw press, the alternating press, and the goalpost press, I would suggest you play around with them a couple of times and then just say, I like this one. For me, I like the seesaw press because it's just, it moves a little faster. It's not one, two. It's got a little bit more of a rhythm to it. But if you need lockout, do the touchdown press. I would recommend, we're going to alternate this with the armor building complex, but I would recommend 2 days a week. And if you work out 3 days a week, let's just say Monday, Wednesday, Friday, simplify it. So week 1, Monday and Friday, I would like you to do a hard alternating press and maybe even single press workout. We'll go through that in just a second. And then following week, that would be the Wednesday workout. Of course, you're going to combine that with the armor building complex. And when I teach these RKCs now, one of the things the ABC is our little like graduation workout. And the more I coach it, the more I watch people do it, the more I like it, which is unusual. So it's 2 double cleans, 1 press, 3 front squats. You might be able to do it every 30 seconds on the 30 seconds. So if you have I think they're called analog clocks now, but we used to call them clocks when I was young. So when the second hand hits noon, you do your set of ABCs. When the second hand hits when the hand hits the 12, you do 30 seconds. When it hits the 6, you do 30, you do it. So every time, every half minute, you do the armor building complex. That's probably a little too fast for some people. So you might just want to start with every minute on the minute at first. So every time, and try to be real strict about it. If you start at the 12, the next set starts at the 12, the next set starts at the 12. My issue with the armor building complex, I have a real hard time keeping track of how many I do. So I would really recommend that you always make a little mark to keep count of it. Even when I do that, sometimes I forget to make the mark, and maybe it's just me. So the ABC, on week 1, Monday and Friday, you're going to do one of the alternating presses, followed by some single work. Wednesday of that week, armor building complex. I'd love to see you build up to, when I say 30 rounds, which is 30 minutes, that's 90 squats. So that's going to be a hard workout. Week 2, you'll do the ABC on Monday and Friday and the alternating press on Wednesday and the single arm work on that Wednesday also. With this program, I can see very easily that you'd probably only get 30-minute workouts in. So that's going to help you, Blake, with your time issues, with your family issues. I'm asking you to give an hour and a half a week to your kettlebells. So now let's get to it itself. Now, because you have the 48, there is one thing we can add, but let's do it right now. If you feel like doing heavy goblet squats instead of just those double kettlebell front squats, those big bells will be nice. You might even want to do something like this. In fact, the order you type this up in isn't terrible, but have the 48 here, the 24, the 24, the 28, and maybe do something like this. Try to work up to a set of 3 with the 48, step over to the 24, a set of 3, step over the 24, a set of 3, step over the 28, a set of 3, and just kind of float through that a few times if you don't feel like doing those double kettlebell front squats. Since you have only 128, one thing you can do in the armor building complex when you start to overpower those 24s is do the uneven style. So you'll have a 28 and a 24. Set 1, in this example, I do the 28, 2 cleans, 1 press, 3 front squats here. And then when I put the bells down, I always step to the opposite side, so I have to move the bells on the ground. I think it's safer. And then that set, I'll have the 28 in my right arm. After that set, you just keep flipping and flopping. And it's a good way to keep progressing up. I don't know. I mean, if you could, that'd be pretty impressive. But if you ever do mix in the ABC complex, the 48 and the 28, make sure you take a video of that, because I think that'd be pretty cool to watch. It can be that simple. The ABC twice a week, and matched with the 1 day a week of doing those alternate presses and some singles. The next week, 2 alternating press singles days and ABC in the middle. I think you can if you get your sleep in, which is tough when you have kids, if you can get good nutrition in, and that's very possible to do, I think you'll get a lot out of it. I like what you have here. This is a good combination of bells. Can you build muscle with kettlebells? Yes, you can. When you do the ABC a few times, you're going to really see how much volume you can get in a short amount of time. With those alternating press days in the singles, I would say I wouldn't mind if you kept your sets and reps on the alternating presses at like 5s or 8s or something like that. So it's 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. That's going to be, it's only 5 reps per side, but it's 10 reps for your whole body. When you move up to 8, again, that's 8 reps per side, but it's 16 for the whole body. When you do 10 per side, it's 20. So you will find a weird kind of fatigue buildup when you do the alternating presses. I'd recommend with what you have here, I do the 24s for your alternating presses. When you finish that, do a few heavier sets with the 28 for a while. I wouldn't mind seeing you do, if you do like 5 rounds of 8 on the seesaw press, which is an easy sentence to say, but hard, and if you finish that up with some good practice with a 28, maybe a set of 2, 2, 2, a set of 3, 3, 3, a set of 5, 5, 5, and rotate through that 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 2 or 3 total times. I think you're gonna have a pretty good workout. And yes, I do think you can build muscle with kettlebells. Thank you. Very, very fun question to answer.